You are listening to Rated M. I am your host, TR. Now, who we have coming up next is Tawana with Real Talk. And her rant is, at what age do people grow up? Take it away.
At what age do people grow up? I'm trying to find out what age do people grow up. Because it just seems like a lot of people are very immature. Even older women are very immature. I don't know if they consider that as bitterness or just very immature. Men are just very immature conversation wise, the way they try to reach out and touch. I'm just trying to really figure out what age do people grow up. I know that they say sometimes that, people usually mature at, 25. But I know people in 30s, 40s, that's just 50s, halfway 60. Happy 60th birthday, Tiara.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Yes, thank you, guys. Yes, I did meet the big 6-0. Yeah, my little crown here and my sash my daughter got me. Yes.
That's cute.
The big 6-0. Yeah, that's a blessing for me.
Yes, happy birthday once again.
Thank you.
Back to these ratchets. I just want to know, is it just me that I feel like, interacting with different people, they can be just like so immature. Even sometimes when you go to certain convenience stores or just stores, period, and just like the communication, sometimes with people is just so nasty. It's just like, I don't know what's happening now. I'm just like, I know everybody going through something, but this is like really a lot.
Well, I look at it as, it's like for one, they're selfish. A lot of it, because it's all about me and not about anyone else, of how they feel. And the young generation, especially the younger generation, it's all about me and what I want, and who cares about anyone else.
But I'm finding it hard to date because of a lot of people that still, immature or at a certain level mentally. Like I said, even with meeting people, just their approach is just like very just like immature.
Give an example.
Like
baby.
guys, even sometimes with meeting guys, just like when they trying to talk to you, they'll start off with an okay conversation, and then it's like they go into like this sexual talk like out of nowhere, and it's just like, but where'd that come from? Like, we just saying, hey, hello, how you doing? Trying to get to know one another, and they're just like giving you like stripper
I think
version.
It depends on the person. Like,
No, it's with no. I try to believe in that. It's not. It's the people.
Everyone is different. Sometimes it could be the circumstances of, for example, the neighborhood where I live at. It's not uncommon to walk down the street, and some people say good morning, some people don't. It's not uncommon to walk down the street and you to look at a girl and not even really look at her. She'd be like, "What you looking at?" Or "I'm gonna smack that off your head. Why she looking at me like that?" It's not uncommon. It sometimes is the area because that's all they know and that's where they're from, and they're probably never going to get any higher than that. And sometimes it could be a number of things. I think at any age, you should always be growing. You should never stop learning. You should never stop growing. For some people, they hit their cap.
But that's why I don't believe. That's why I don't
15.
believe it's an area. I just believe it's just in certain people.
I think it's cultural, and I think it's become acceptable. Like, if you look right now, Donald Trump and Ted Cruz, who want to lead the free world, are engaged in a Twitter battle. The two of them, like, how old are you that you're battling on Twitter? That's for 12 or 13-year-old, not for people that are trying to lead, and they're battling, and they have this feud going on.
And they're supposed to be possibly leading the country.
So I think it's become acceptable in our society to behave badly and to immaturely and to make it all about us and to throw tantrums.
But even I see, not to cut you off, sorry, even teachers nowadays are
They throw tantrums.
Yeah.
Like little kids.
Yeah, they're very immature. When you go speak to them about, children sometimes, even just going into school office, you got the secretaries that's just like nasty, or it's just, I'm just
no respect. They have no respect. They're not professional. You go in someplace, that's why I have this thing about chewing gum. And I put my daughter out my car behind chewing gum, okay? That you're at a desk and you're like, maybe. well, yes, can I help you? Or even if I go to the clinic and I'm standing there and they're completely ignoring me and I'm like, hello? Yeah, what do you want? Well, I've been standing here. I just don't get it. Or when you call them up on the phone, you could tell. Call them up on the phone and there's no professionalism in the phone.
That's what I'm saying. And then what I don't
It's
like...
so immature and unprofessional.
What I don't like about it, because even certain people that have a business, they know that some of their leaders that's supposed to, like, know how to speak to people kindly, like secretary work and things like that, they know that they have these nasty people. And it's just like, how do you expect your business to run when we as people have to go through the first step just to get to the second step? Like, it's like people not even afraid of losing their business now, because it's just like...
Because
It's
all hires,
acceptable.
right, it's
become
acceptable. And you can go to the clinic in the ghetto and they hire people, ghetto acting people with no professionalism at
Right.
all. I go to the clinic, yes, it's in the ghetto. Am I ghetto? No. But when I go in there, I be like, oh my God, I can't believe that I'm subject to this kind of stuff. It's horrible. And the immaturity, I don't even have an answer for it.
I think that's weird though, especially when you mention jobs, about how people who are don't have that certain attitudes when they're working, because I think at any job that I worked at, there was some type of training on how to approach, and most of my job have been retail, all customer service, have been how to approach when a customer comes in. So it's weird. I cannot believe that these people that are working did not receive any type of training as to how they are to approach people or receive people. I think it's just a matter of them just not doing it because of their attitudes. Because they know how. I can't see that they have not been told or taught how to do it.
I thought motor vehicle was just the one that everybody
Oh,
had.
I
in
know.
there.
A motor vehicle
I know motor vehicle.
A motor vehicle and the unemployment office are the most nastiest places. Well,
Everyone hates
And
Yeah.
now the hospitals.
Mm-hmm.
Even the hospitals now.
And you don't have to deal that much with unemployment anymore, because once you fill out your main paperwork, once you get through that, everything is electronically done. But when I was coming up and we had to go to the motor vehicle and we were standing on them long lines and stuff like that, I go up to them and they're like, yeah, what can I help you with? I'm like, excuse me, are you having a bad day? I look at it this way. If it wasn't for me being unemployed, you wouldn't have a job.
Right. And like I said, even, places I know that people I know come to work every day with a very nasty attitude. And I'm just saying to myself,
With
if
a
you
chip,
really
right?
have to feel like that, why work? Because I understand some places could make you be very up under a
With
certain
customer
kind
service.
of, pressure or things like that. But if this job is not fitting you, just don't work. I hate for people to be somewhere and you just know they're just there for a paycheck, because it's just like they don't care about anybody that's...
The hospitals are like that.
But if there's no consequences, like you said,
Right.
like you talking to a guy, but guess what? He talked to a girl just like that, and guess what? He got what he wanted from her. So it worked at some point, and that's why he keeps doing it. There's no consequences.
But you know what? Because you have a certain type of class and they want to downplay that class, so they try you. They try you. And then when you tell them, you're not about that, then they want to say, what? You stuck up, right? But I tell them, oh, yeah, I'm stuck up. Yes, I am.
I just think that it's just a lot of different types of immature people, period.
So how do you deal with it when you come across people like that? What do you do?
Guys?
Anyone?
Oh, well, see, to me, I feel like with my personality, even though if I meet somebody that have a very nasty attitude, I'm not really the type that'd be like, well, fight with it. So to me, I've ran across people that have had that nasty attitude and kind of have brought it down, I guess, just on the way of my approach. Because I try not to make that same approach that they may give me, because I know sometimes it's just going to be a bigger conflict. And it seems like every time that you go to certain places that you really need to get things to get by, it's like you have to deal with those kind of people. And my issue is that I have is, okay, we're all going through the same thing in life. I just feel like a lot of places just have no consideration and no understanding as if it was them or their family member itself. That's why I feel like you treat people how you want to be treated. But I don't even think that... I kind of believe the way these people treat people, this is the way that they okay with being treated, because it's just no way that you can just feel like every day you just want to be nasty or mean to somebody and not understand how that feel if someone done it to you. So I'm just wondering,
I believe in accountability. I was in the store last week and I was buying fruit and the cashier was like throwing the stuff in the bag,
Damaging your stuff.
yeah, like, and I'm
Bruising.
like, don't throw the stuff in the bag, and you're not, because it's fruit. So they kept doing it. So I went to the manager and I'm like, listen, I asked her more than once to stop doing that, and she's still doing it. And the manager came and talked. I believe in accountability, and it's not going to stop unless there's consequences and accountability. And it's up to all of us, and not being that person or that police person policing everything, but at the same time, don't ignore it either. You're there to perform a service. And I know sometimes you just want to fill your form and keep going and get your stuff done, but it's not fair.
It's like
to the
people make you
public.
scared to ask them a question because you're so worried about their response.
Well, this is what happened to me last week right here in the building here. And we're opening up a spa, as you know, around the corner. So I was bringing some stuff, and I have a chair in the corner right by the door, and there was a woman, young woman, sitting there. Now, she sees me with these bags. She's partially in the way of the door. So I come around her, and for one, I didn't know who she was. She's chatting on the phone. She didn't even budge to move out my way. She said I gave her the mean look. I just looked at her if to say, and I had to say, excuse me. And I said it like I was appalled. I was like, excuse me. And then she sucked her teeth, and she got up and she walked out. So she walked away and went into the room across. So I put my stuff down, and I came out to lock the door, and I went to that studio. And I said, excuse me, who's in charge here? Because she went in that studio. And I said, well, where? And I said the person's name. She said, she's not here, but I'm in charge. I said, okay. I says, look, I'm across the hall now. And a lot of movement is going on over there. I have no problem with you sitting on our furniture. But however, that when me and my crew come around, please be courteous enough to move so we could do what we have to do. So she said, well, who was it? I said, it was this woman right here. She got up and did the neck and stuff action at me, and I'm looking at her, and I'm burning up inside, but I'm not giving her this full satisfaction that she was getting to me. So I kept it professional all the way. She said, I'm a grown woman. She wasn't acting like one. I'm a grown woman, and if you had something to say, you could have said it to me. And I told her, no. It's not my place to say to you, I don't know who you are. And it's my place to go to the person that's in charge, that is renting a room, that if I have an issue with her guest, is for me to go to her, not to you if you're a guest. Well, I'm part of this establishment. I said, well, do you know who I am? She says, no. So I said, well, you can't be that much a part of it, because everybody knows who I am, and I'm a part of this right here. So, oh, you mean mung me? And she was like, she said, I could have been just someone who walked off the street and sat there by your door. I said, well, then if that's the case, it would have been my place to call security, because you don't have the right to be here. And I said it very calm like that. And she was like, who are you? And like doing stuff like this. So I got heat up inside, but I took a deep breath and I said, you know something? I'm not going there with you. I'm old enough to be your grandmother. I'm not going to go there with you. I'm going to remove myself from this situation, because if I have to call somebody, I'm not going to be the loser. So I'm just going to remove myself. So she kept going on. So the young lady came back to me, and then when I gave her my mind, she goes, oh my God, you're Miss TR. I'm like, yes. She says, I know who you are. You are correct. You handled it professionally. You were supposed to go to me. I'll handle that on my end. Going by what you say and how you did it professionally, and that's what you were supposed to do. I just knew of you and seeing you on Facebook, and I knew of you because people have spoken about you. But I didn't know this is the first time me seeing you face to face, and she apologized. But the thing is that this was a grown woman. She might have been about maybe 25. You know, she might have been grown as far as the legal age,
right,
but her attitude
And that's another
It
thing
was,
with
it
the
was
younger
not,
generation.
it was not right.
They feel like they have to explain something or like go back and forth with you when you're just trying to, be polite to them. And it's like now you have to worry about getting into a whole fist fight, ball out, roll on the ground
You're in my space.
with people.
And you giving me the mean look. I says, no, I gave you a look because I had to say something for you to move.
And see, that's where I feel like people who hire other people to deal with, that you have to make sure you're dealing with people that's very professional, or at least know how to handle certain situations or know how to talk to, people. Like me, I give a fashion show every year for little kids. I have one girl on my team with me, and well, actually, she's not coming back, but that's my reason, when people used to be like, oh, Tawana, I want to come and help out and this, that, and the third. And it's not that I don't mind people helping out, but I feel like when you're dealing with people and people who have children and you're dealing with children, you have to make sure you're dealing with the right people who have patience, because sometimes children, they get a little active. I don't want to invite people on my team that's just like, oh, sit down, because
slamming somebody's kid up against the wall or something, right?
So it's like you have to know when you doing certain things who to deal with and who to invite, on your team. So
but it's
that was
it's everywhere. People are, and you don't want to not speak up for yourself, because then they take it as a weakness and then they dig. And then if you say something, you have to worry about when you go downstairs that they're going to be meeting you at the bottom of the stairs with a bat or something, where they're really being immature about everything.
Right.
Yeah, even a cash register being mean and just being rude. It wasn't you, but whatever happened before you got there, she took it out on you, and actually took it out on your food. And when you brought it to her attention, instead of her, even if she caught an attitude, like step back and get a hold of herself and say, ma'am, you know what, I'm sorry. And then let it go, or just maybe not say anything. She continued.
Or even at a restaurant, it's like you got to be careful
because you don't want them spitting in your food.
It's just like how I can't tell you something wasn't right with my food and you get an attitude with me, and now I got to worry about what you doing to my food.
Yeah, spitting in it and
so
rubbing
it's like
it on the floor.
I got to deal with this right here that I don't like, because the waitress was nasty.
I know people are afraid to send their food back because they said they're afraid of someone doing something to it. And as you know, we have seen it. People do it. Okay, guys, on that note, we're going to come back.